Greetings, fellow duplicates. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Badlands, episode 21, which originally streamed live on Twitch. Looking at the research that I produced. So it's should be idle right now, I think. And a blueprint. Yeah, I don't really want any of them, so iron it is. What about skills? Cheese, I'm going to give you exosuit wearing, so you move around faster in an exosuit. Run an automation wire, and then a power wire. Yeah, you're not a snail anymore. You can move. Now, if I wanted to, I could also top up the gas reservoir, but because we don't really use the ore scrubber basically ever, it's just not something I care to do at the moment. If we find use for an ore scrubber later down the line, I'll bother. But until then, count me out. So this is going to sense, let me take a look at it again. If oxygen, yes, allow throughput. So let's check to make sure this works. Unwanted gases go to the dump pipe, which makes a clear run all the way out to space. And I don't have any oxygen being produced here just yet, but we'll see it work here in a minute. So here's some oxygen going through the system, and boop, it gets plopped out. And it's a 10-watt filter rather than a, whatever, 150-watt filter. So I am going to set these up on automation wires. I'll stick the signal switch for these here. And then that allows me to control this system when I want it on and off. Because right now, I'm just dumping oxygen to the exit of the checkpoint. Hey, buddy. More blueberries. I'm going to set construction up to 9. Get that done. Because at the moment, I'm just like wasting rust and oxygen and all that. Doesn't make any sense. I'll disable the deoxidizer. All right. Cool. So that works. Although it just let a whole bunch of oxygen go through because it's on overpressure. So that is the one failing of this system. Is one overpressured, and we could detect for that using automation. But when overpressured, it will dump oxygen to space, as you can see here. Hey, Chen, thanks for the resub. I'm glad you like it. Alright, so this should be vacuum. Yeah, it's vacuum now. Okay, cool. Now that that's set up, the other thing I'm going to want to do is to obviously not dump it to nowhere. I am going to want to introduce this oxygen where we will want to breathe it. So I'll get rid of the gas vent and then put in the plumbing, and that will mean that our system will work kind of in reverse. It will feed the exosuits first and then everything else. Other things I'm going to want is to set up storage bins. So the auto sweeper, maybe I should explain what the auto sweeper does. automates sweeping and supplying errands by sucking up all nearby debris. So essentially what this is going to do is the iron ore that is generated by the rust deoxidizer can get swept up and leave the system. So we don't have to sweep it up manually. So the way to do that is to put a conveyor loader in here. And the conveyor loader and then the debris itself have to be reachable within the auto sweeper, which has a finite reach. And then the conveyor loader will allow for that iron to be moved automatically on conveyor rails. And I think in this instance, because I'm not really making any checks to see if it's germ-free or anything like that, I'm just going to shoot it, conveyor shoot drop here for now. Perhaps in the future I'll increase it a bit better. And then the other thing I'm going to want to do is to set up storage bins. I think they could be standard storage bins to feed the deoxidizer, and then set up these storage bins to hold a certain predetermined amount of salt and rust. And then at some point in the future, I can even automatically deliver the salt and rust so that resolves even more of the delivery. So we'll wait until they're done building a little bit more of this. Then we'll see if it works as designed. It was weird. The bottle emptier was light as if it was accepting input, but wasn't. So we're currently researching solid management. So yeah, solid management includes the germ sensors to make sure that you're not... So one of the reasons why I'm not rail piping this in behind my ore scrubber is without the research that I'm currently working on, I don't know if it's germy or not. Not that I think it would be germy. It's highly unlikely that it would, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So over here, I'm going to put the maximum amount of salt that we can store here as 1,000 kilograms. And then same deal for the rust, 1,000 kilograms. And that will allow me to pull salt and rust from those bins, copying and pasting down, so that there's salt and rust available for these bins, so that we can see if the auto sweeper works. So this receptacle is going to be for iron, metal ore. That's what's getting produced. And this is going to need a conductive wire. And I'll stick this on the same automation wire. Might as well. So I can flip it all on and off at a switch. Okay, and then as soon as that stuff gets delivered from the other rust, I'll see if it works as intended. See, these guys are getting cramped. How many fibers? All right, I have 12 units of reed fibers. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have this be a glossy ranch and not a fiber ranch. And then if I need more glossies, I can just go into the wild and grab them if I ever need fibers. So I'm raising the priority of storage here a little bit higher so that my duplicants bring stuff to it. Another way to speed up this process would be for me to just actually grab new rust and salt. So I'm going to do that as well. Never hurts to have more of it. All right, get shearing. There's a lot of plastic to be had. We're already at 900 kilograms, and it's going up and up and up and up because I have this sort of meta ranch. Still haven't delivered anything. Okay, but are they digging it? Yes, they are. Right, so I'm doing a high priority sweeping of the salt and rust. Who's idle? Hess, you are... How'd you get... okay, yep. You are marooned. What materials are there here that you could build? Hess, what are... let me see. There is igneous here. So let me put an igneous ladder down, and Hess can get himself out. Herself. Alright, all set. Still haven't been delivered yet. But here's the solid filter, which helps to filter out specifically the materials that you're sending through the conveyor. A meter, which is new to me. It's been added since the last I played, but that automatically turns material transfer off when the specific amount has passed through it. And then these sensors for germs and stuff that if I wanted to automate a way to make sure that germy material coming through this conveyor also went through the ore scrubber, what you could do is you could just conveyor drop it here. So that anyone picking up would be forced to go through an ore scrubber, and that way you're not introducing germs into the base. I would very much like the salt to be delivered so that I could turn on the oxygen production, because we're down to one suit. What's funny is I have a ton of breathable oxygen on the other side of the airlock too. It's just all polluted. Alright, let me cancel the sweeping the mafic rock. So we get the material that we want swept. There we go, I see salt. Salt is coming. Alright, enabling the building. And then we'll see if this works. And if it does, it should fill these suits up quick. Let me double check it. The ventilation work looks fine. Yeah, it all looks up to snuff at quick glance. And printables. I guess eggs for omelets? Could someone flick this on? Getting a wee bit impatient. I'm also just introducing a whole lot of more plants to bring up the decor. around some of the commonly traversed areas. Colony. Achievement. What would this be? Finely tuned machine. Perform 100 tune-ups. Nice. I think that's largely Hess. Alright, let's flick this on and check how it works. What, did you just steal rust from that? Kimo, where are you going with that rust? Oh, you're resupplying the deoxidizer from a different box. I don't know. Just chemo things. So taking a look at it. Yep. Seems to be working just fine. Now the real question is, will the iron move? So there's the iron, goes into the receptacle. Go to the conveyor overlay. You can see the iron physically moving to the conveyor, and it gets dropped outside of the water lock, saving us a little bit of extra trip. And then the next question is, will this be supplied? So, the rust deoxidizer at 9, and the storage bins are at an 8. Can I explain the difference between morale and beauty? Sure. I guess. Morale is a sum total of happiness, and beauty adds happiness. That is the very short explanation. So morale is how happy your duplicants are, and then beauty helps to add to morale. So one of the ways to keep your duplicants happy is just to have it be beautiful around where they are and where they work. Guess it's too cold down here. Let me move the Mirth. Mirth is more temperature sensitive than the Briar. So I'll put Mirth up here. Well, these suits are definitely getting reoxygenated. I haven't really seen this rust deoxidizer run out of material yet. Maybe because the auto sweeper is doing it. I'll have to keep an eye on it. I think it's pretty solid. I'm not venting hot salt water to space. I am only venting chlorine right now to space. All right, let's make space for another one, another setup. I would say this works well, so I'll invest in another one. I could just lock the doors and see if it keeps running. True, yeah, I could put a door in here, maybe where the bottle emptier used to be. Canadian flannel? Well, here Viper is manually delivering rust. Come on, someone lock it. Currently, we don't have an automated way to deliver the salt or the rust, so it's not a door that I can keep locked forever, obviously. But it is sort of an experiment to see if it is running itself, because I haven't been staring at the auto sweeper do it. Good. Someone locked the door. Thank you, Cheese. Now, the signal switch is going to have to be a little bit different because I don't want it to combine with the other network. It's going to be a little bit sloppier, but we'll see. We'll see if it works. So let's hook it all up to the automation switch first, so that I can control it. And turn it off, and then I'll power it on. Yep, the auto sweeper definitely just delivered supplies to the rust deoxidizer automatically. I just witnessed it firsthand. So this is a far more hands-off solution to oxygen generation. And if I go to the charts here for the colony summary for oxygen generation, so this is the oxygen produced, we have like an all-time high spike now. I mean, obviously, because if this project wasn't creating an all-time high spike, it would be a failure of a project. So yeah, I would say it's working. Before I expand this any further, I do want to clean this area up so we don't end up with like salt water and whatnot inside. Unlock the door now and then. So I guess what I could do is I could have the duplicants deliver salt and rust to a bin that gets put into a conveyor loader and delivered automatically, because that would be another step. Should I set up rust and salt delivery or do it manually? Do it automatically. Do it manually. The benefit of doing it manually is it would allow me to work on other projects. The benefit of doing it automatically is, you know, it's more of an automated solution long term. Happy to do it either way. And Randall Thor, thank you for gifting out so many subs and resubbing. Cheers, dude. Hopefully I'll have a duplicate that I like soon and end up printing them up. That does bring me to another thing, which is the plastic that I've been adding. Let's start using it. So one of the ways I want to use it, at least for now, until I get a transport tube, is to replace the stone ladders with plastic ladders, which increase the speed. Because that's going to lower the long commute penalties that I have and help to, in the long run, get us to be a lot more productive. There's a lot of tidying up to do, though. I have so many storage. So much storage. Very ridiculous. Do I have any plans for a playthrough with the DLC? Nope. I was fairly certain I set this up to be saltwater. I don't know why I had to do it twice. So then I'm going to want the gas pump filter. I think this gas pump filter is going to have to be in a different location. Did the pips ever hatch? No, they actually, I don't exactly know why, but they died. They went smush. So I'll put the element sensor here, I guess. And then the valve here. This is gonna get messy. Not so bad. Yeah, I probably left them in a storage locker. I thought I had kicked their eggs out, but I think what might have happened is one of these storage lockers didn't get the copy and pasted. But if I take a look here, like, pip eggs aren't allowed in these storage lockers, right? They're not checked. So, I don't know. Doesn't matter. The end-all be-all is they don't exist. Sure, I'll print up some more rust. Doctor supply. Yeah, I don't care for any of the other duplicates. Taking a look at skills. Wow, our morale is really high. Up in the mid to high 30s for some. Sky's the limit. Alright, so is this automation wire? Yep, this automation wire is on. So now I can start running power here, and then once the ventilation is set up, I will vacuum out this chamber when I have the water lock set up. I am going through a remarkable amount of rust down here, though. So I will, for now, delete this auto door. But it looks like I'll be doing it automatically in the long run. Alright, so this element sensor is just going to be the same way this one is, right? Set up to breathable oxygen is the only thing that goes through the shutoff valve. This shutoff valve is also going to need power. And then automation wire. Hi, Kit and Carmen. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Alright, now all the settings are basically the same, except for we don't have a conveyor, do we? Let's do a conveyor bridge. Cool. Almost done. I think what I'll do is once I have this set up, I will shut down the top operation and see if the somewhat more automated setup... Hey, Artisan! I remember you from yesterday. Subbing, if I recall, to Trustin. Thank you for tuning in here. I appreciate it. So once I have two of these, I'll see if it's enough oxygen to keep the base oxygenated. Yeah, and I already have enough liquid in the liquid locks, so let's get those stopped. Quick test. Is everything set up and ready? I have no idea. But I'm going to turn it on anyway. Alright, so carbon dioxide should be dumped. And that is... Oh, it's going the wrong way. Uh-oh. Turn off. Before it gets weird. So there's a little bit of chlorine in here because I don't have it directional. So that's another thing I'm going to need to set up. Yep. So there's a tiny bit of chlorine that's going to maybe go into one of the suit docks and damage it a little bit. It's actually better to go into the suit docks than into the actual Atmo. So with that off, let's fix this. And all we got to really do is to have this have a direction as well, so that it doesn't that doesn't happen anymore. So, God, this is getting confusing. This is the waste gas line. Yeah, so this gets destroyed. This goes out here. It's a pretty easy solution. So if you're wondering, basically what happened is my waste gas sort of went and fed back into the shutoff, but fed back into the shutoff before the gas pipe element sensor, which means that it skipped the sensor and then went through the shutoff without being sensed, which meant that any byproduct of this filter was going to be pumped back into the line. But it's easy to fix. The way to fix it is to make sure it doesn't backtrack. So the way to make sure it doesn't backtrack is for there to be the gas bridges. So now, unwanted gas will go up to this gas bridge, and this gas bridge won't let gas go backwards into the element sensor, or into the shutoff valve. Alright, now, if I've done this correctly, which I have a lot of... I am ye of little faith, but if I've done this correctly, this will indeed not backfire anymore. Jeez, thanks for gifting out a sub. And Raven, thank you for the follow. Yep, so it's working as intended now. Messy, but functional. What's interesting is where the heck is my chlorine? Oh, there it is. Now we're starting to get the chlorine. Alright, with that built, let's go ahead and shut this all down. Let's see if the oxygen that we're producing down below is enough. I am going to empty out these storage bins so that I can move these supplies down to where we need them. And you did say that you wanted an automated solution, so I'll be working on that as well. I'll be trying to deliver material to the storage bins. I'm actually not entirely sure how I'm going to handle that. I haven't thought about it. It probably means that I have to use the conveyor meter. But I'm honestly rightly not sure. Yep. So this should be a 9. These should be 8s. They're already 8s. And then we'll get the materials delivered and check to see if it's enough oxygen. My poor suit docks just got slammed with that garbage. Although the base has never been more oxygenated. So, I don't know. Could be worse. There we go. Now the other question is, do I have enough volume in the pipes to even allow for... Yeah, so what's happening here is some of this is overflowing. And I can actually catch the overflow and just sort of, like, keep it. Another thing that I could do, actually, which would be even more wise, is to have this oxygen go... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to change the system. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have I missed a puppy treat, sorry. I'm gonna have this oxygen feed to gas tank storage. Each individual pipeline to feed to gas tank storage, and then to automate it so that these turn off when the gas tank storage reaches a certain capacity. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. So this is going to be even more of a complicated project than I had originally planned. Oh man, that dock. But that's probably the best way to prevent this sort of like overflowing that we're getting. So I'm going to shut these down for a minute while I retool. Because it's going to be hard to do Yes, this is my little Yoda. One of my 3 dogs. Real cute, real sweet. So let's get rid of this old line. I'm actually going to nuke a lot of this, just so that it's easier on the eyes. So now I'm connecting it up so that this feeds to this one, that feeds to that one, and this is only going to be for oxygen. And then I'm going to install an OR gate. Put one here, and move the signal switches. What kind of pup is this? He's a little mix. He's a half Maltese, quarter Poodle, and quarter Italian Greyhound. He's got these... His name's Yoda. He's got the little Yoda ears. He's a good boy, and he loves fruit. So I feed him blueberries when I feel he's deserving. Which is always. But I don't want him to plump up. He has a voracious appetite. He would eat forever if he was allowed. And then similarly, just so that we don't have other overflow situations, I may want to actually store waste gas too. So that it acts as like a overflow tank. Which ever complicates this. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to store the waste gas below. So that it's a little cleaner. Man, where did all my salt go? I'm going to set these up to be swept. I'd like to have the rust deoxidizers well stocked for when it's time to turn things back on. I could turn the old rust back on, because yeah, that thing didn't have any fail points. Except for it doesn't really have any input materials. But hey, you know, whatever. My duplicants will manage. And then any of the waste gases from this system, this is going to become... Maybe I'll have it on each level. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So this will be for this one, this will be for that one. So I'll reroute it. And I'm actually going to move the filtration pipes too. To over here. Just so that it's easier to understand, easier to look at. A little bit more intuitive. Where's the repair? I guess I just have to increase the priority for it to be auto-repaired. Okay. It's going to be a lot easier to sort of understand for future me when I have to maintain this system if I clean it up so that it's sort of more uniform. So although it adds additional burden now, it definitely makes it easier later. So for ore gates, let me set up one ore gate over here, one ore gate over here. I'll nest it sort of underneath the thing. So these ore gates are, if either of these gas reservoirs near full, signal an alarm. So I'll be changing these to, let's say, just to test, we'll put it at 50%. So when the waste gases or the oxygen hits half capacity, turn off, and it will be green at 40%. And that way there's a little wiggle room. We'll see if that works for me. And then there is more ore gates here. Let me remove these for now, because I don't like their actual location. So this switch here is going to act, and I'm going to move these switches. I'm just worried that if I disconnect them now, the system will turn back on. Well, I guess we'll find out. And then these switches are just sort of like overrides. So if I want the system off, I can manually just say, hey, turn off. So I'll put the second switch up here, and then the second set of ore gates here. So one here and put one there. Once this is all built, I'll sort of walk you through the logic behind them so you can understand them. Because it is increasing in complexity. Alright, I believe that's the last of the automation required. And just set this up to 9 so it gets built next. And then set up the actual plumbing, the actual throughput plumbing. So here we go. So this is the oxygen tanks. And this one is going to need a bridge for direction. And then these are the waste tanks. And, oops. Oh, not the autosave thing. I hate when the autosave kicks in and makes you draw nonsense all over the map. Okay, and these are the waste tanks. And then these waste tanks are going to eventually connect up there. So I will give them directions here. 1 and 2. And then an actual bridge. There we go. At some point I might want to replace this so that it's all better insulation and all that. Because I don't really know the temperature that we generate. But, this should be... And gates, sorry. have no idea where this oxygen is going to go. It's going to get stuck. In fact, the other original OR gates should be AND gates too. Let's make these AND gates. OR gates is like, if either of them fulfill the condition, it's good to go. AND gates is they both have to meet the condition to go. So I meant AND gates the whole time instead of OR gates. So here's the rest of the construction. I'll just 9 it, and then we'll be done, and I'll be ready to take on new projects. Blueprints. Okay. Just immediately kill it. And I do have a little bit more plastic to speed this up. Love me some plastic ladders. So now, both of these tanks have to be within capacity for them to send a green signal, and then that signal plus the signal switch has to be green to turn on the rest of the system. So there's, there's a lot of double checking. And then once we have the ventilation on and set up, we'll be ready to run. Except for I just noticed that because I let it run, we're letting chlorine through the system. But that has been solved. I've already fixed that. So this chlorine's going to be, output there. That should not be a problem once this is ready to actually go. I hope. So we're almost done building that. Right on. So, what I will do is take... do you want me to automate delivery or take a new project? Have you decided on that while I wrap this up? Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Badlands, which originally streamed live on Twitch March 10th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. Keep in mind that this is a casual series, and I am quite rusty at it. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has the link to Discord, as does the description of this video. I hope to catch you next episode or in an upcoming stream. Farewell.